stopping here? I thought you said we will be late at the airport.
Yes. Don't worry. Everything will be alright soon.
We have been waiting here for a while. Are we waiting for somebody?
Zuriel, as a matter of fact, yes. Yes, we are waiting for someone very important.
Is the person traveling to abroad like us?
Can you try not to talk for 1 minute?
Okay.
Good.
Is the person we are waiting for in that car?
Wait in the car. I'm coming.
You are indeed a man of your word.
Indeed I am, Madam Sabi. I told you I'm always on time.
That's good for business. Talking about business, is my package ready for transportation?
Yes, as agreed. And is my payment complete and available?
As promised. It's right here in the bag.
Good.
Don't tell me you want to start counting the money right here in the open. Don't you trust me?
Oh, of course I trust you, Madam Sabi. I just want to check.
Can we go now? My contact is on duty at the border till noon before his shift ends. I'd like to be on time so I don't miss him. If not, we can't cross the border today.
That's all right. Let me bring your package. Zuriel, this auntie will take you to the airport while I run back to go get something very important I forgot.
But Uncle Joe...
Don't worry, she's the one that got you the job abroad, so you are safe, alright?
Okay, Uncle Joe.
Before the plane takes off, I will join you, alright?
Okay, Uncle Joe, please be quick.
Definitely, I will. Now, go get your things from the booth and go join her.
Good day, officer. Here's my passport.
And good day to you too. So what is your purpose for coming into this country? Business or pleasure? And is this your daughter with you?
Yes, she is.
No,
she means no. We are not traveling for business. I mean, how can you carry your little daughter for a business trip? Yes, she's my daughter and we are traveling for pleasure.
Little girl, what is your name?
Zuriel.
Zuriel, is she...
Officer, actually, we are in a hurry, eh? Please take this and drink water.
Madam, you know I like travelers like you. Come. Now, pass quickly before my boss comes. He's a no-nonsense man. Oh yeah, go.
Join us next week for another edition of I Wish I Knew Radio Drama. I Wish I Knew Radio Drama is brought to you by Media Coalition and Awareness to Halt Human Trafficking, MACART, in partnership with National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, and funded by the Denmark Embassy, Nigeria.
Very good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, the radio experience you can always count on. And today is the 15th day of March 2025. And as always, we bring to you the I Wish I Knew radio program and drama. And this is that program where we get to talk about human trafficking, you know, as a serious issue that we need to talk about and address more often in the society. And also to, you know, enlighten people so so they know how best to fight this fight to ensure that we have a world that is safer and saner for the safety and the thriving of everyone involved. My name is Dilto Joan. I will be your host on the program today, and this program is brought to you by the Media Coalition and Awareness to Halt Trafficking in Persons, trafficking, that is MICAT, in collaboration with NAPTIP. NAPTIP is the National Agency Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, and with supports from the Danish Embassy, and of course support from Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. As always, we are privileged to have guests on the program with us, and today our topic is on the global efforts to combat human trafficking. We'll be looking at international cooperation and agreements and initiatives that have been put in place to ensure that this is made possible. Right, yeah, welcome back. Like I said, today we're going to be having a guest to talk about, the global efforts that have been put in place to combat human trafficking. And we have Mr. Iyagi Abraham Ernest. He is a Migration Return and Reintegration Officer. It's such a pleasure to have you join us this morning, sir. Hello, Mr. Ernest. Hello. Can you hear us, Mr. Ernest?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Good morning.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
We can hear you clearly, sir. Good morning.
Yeah, I'm delighted to be on the program this morning.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
All right. So, Mr. Ernest, let's get right into it. What are some of the most significant international agreements and protocols that addresses human trafficking, and how effective have they been in practice?
Okay, that's very good. The most significant international protocols or agreements that have been enacted so far and the effectiveness of its practices. Most of the protocols established so far in areas of human trafficking, they've all been very effective, but the problem is the practicability of all of this. So one famous amongst all of those ones are the United Nations Protocol to prevent, suppress, and punish trafficking in persons, especially women and children. Now, another one is the ILO Convention number 29, that is on forced labor, and the updated protocol that was also enacted in 2014, highlighted the need for member states to take effective measures to eliminate forced labor and protect the victims. Then we also have another one that is also very important to me, and as far as the discussion is concerned, is the Council of Europe Convention on Action Against Trafficking in Human Beings. Then we also have another optional protocol to the Convention on the Rights of the Child from the Sale of Children, Prostitution, and Pornography. We also have the ILO Convention number 105 that talks about the abolition of forced labor. Then there is also another ILO Convention number 189 that talks about the domestic workers, and that was enacted in 2011. Now, these are almost a very significant conventions and protocols that are the global stage canvassing for the protection and the complete abolition of human trafficking. And the question is, to how extent has all of these conventions have been practiced or domiciled in most countries where trafficking is very, very on the high side. So I must give it to the United Nations, and particularly the ILO, for championing most of those conventions and ensuring that they are ratified, they are domesticated, and to a large extent, some of them have actually been able to deliver very well on the reality of the human person as regards the right and the need to protect the inalienable rights of these individuals who eventually fall victim. So, for the purpose of this discussion, I've just listed about 5 of those protocols, and their effectiveness is still very low. For me, it is still very low because one, people do not even know about those laws. People do not even know about this convention.
Yeah.
So there is a need to continuously advocate. There is a need to continuously create awareness for people to know what is happening as far as conventions and protocols are concerned for the protection of victims around the human trafficking. Thank you.
Amazing, sir. You mentioned the United Nations while you were talking. So let's talk about these international bodies like United Nations, Interpol, and other regional bodies. How do they collaborate, and also with local bodies? How do they now collaborate when it comes to human trafficking across borders?
Okay, so international organizations like that they should collaborate is the need for bilateral and multilateral agreements. They should have a strengthened cooperation through bilateral and multilateral agreements that enhance information sharing. It also enhance joint operations against human trafficking. Then another one should be the need to continuously advocate for stronger and comprehensive international norms and protocols that can help play a major role in helping to combat human trafficking. Then we also have the need to continuously share information across enforcement agencies within the areas to which some of those laws cover. There is need to also streamline intelligence in the investigation against human trafficking. Information sharing, as far as I'm concerned, will foster collaboration among countries to enable them to coordinate efforts towards tracking those mafias, towards tracking those elements, and also respond efficiently to prevent trafficking cases across borders.
Yeah.
There is also room for diplomatic and law enforcement pressure. There is need to use diplomatic channels to pressure countries with weak anti-trafficking policies. Because for me, it plays a vital role in helping to reduce trafficking and the risk around the human trafficking. Another factor would be that there is need to engage with global organizations such as the ones you have mentioned, the United Nations, Interpol, and other relevant organizations to foster the global response needed to combat human trafficking.
Amazing. So now let's talk about challenges, because we know that if it were easy by now, I'm sure these people would have abolished human trafficking completely. So let's talk about some of the challenges that they face when it comes to enforcing anti-trafficking laws internationally, especially in countries that have weak legal frameworks. What are some of those challenges?
I can tell you for free that one of the typical countries with those weak international laws or anti-trafficking laws, Nigeria will stand on the topmost priority of some of those countries that are typically to be used as an example. You understand? So one of the major challenges as far as enforcing anti-trafficking law is concerned is the fact that you have inadequate legal frameworks. There are conventions, there are protocols, there are policies, there are laws everywhere that talks about human trafficking. But factor of concern here is this. To what extent are those conventions and protocols coherent? This one will be talking about a different story, and we read another convention that is related to the same topic. It's talking about another different idea completely. So they are not coherent, they are not adequate, you understand, and it becomes very cumbersome and very difficult for people to even understand their common interpretation. That is one. Another one is poverty and unemployment. It's poverty and unemployment. a man who is frustrated, a man who is hungry, a man who is vulnerable, there is no amount of legal frameworks you put in place that would be able to regulate such an individual. One, because he's arrested. One, because he's jobless. One, because poverty has taken the chunkiest part of their life and their understanding. There is nothing you're going to tell an individual like that that will make them not to even go into trafficking as an adventure.
Yeah.
So poverty and unemployment is for me a bigger challenge. Then another one is illiteracy and ignorance. People don't, when illiteracy is on the top of the list, there is little or nothing you can do when you want to advocate for some of these legal frameworks. Because one, illiteracy will make the people not to understand what you're talking about. And again, even if they know what you're talking about, the ignorance of what you are talking about is also another major issue.
Yeah.
People are not aware, and illiteracy will also play a major role in helping them not to be aware. Then the weakness of national institutions. We have institutions that help to canvass for the reality of some of those legal frameworks. But to what extent are these institutions allowed to function? Most of these institutions do not even have the necessary machineries. They don't even have the necessary technicalities or intelligence to do exactly what they are supposed to do. But the problem is this: there is a lot that we can do as advocates. There is a lot that we can do as practitioners in this area to ensure that institutional capacity is given to most of our national institutions that helps to canvass for the rights of most of the victims who fall into this category. Then another issue is poor funding. One of the challenges confronting the law enforcement agencies in Nigeria, particularly in combating human trafficking, is lack of funding. Everything involves our funding, and when the fundings are not available, or the fundings are available and channeled to the wrong direction, there is going to be poor implementation and poor advocacy. Then another one is the lack of cooperation. One of the major challenges that I have seen so far is the fact that the victims are not even cooperating with even the law enforcement agency, because the traffickers are mostly, or most times, their friends and family members. So when the law enforcement agency wants to do the detailed intelligence work to find out what is, see that the victims is very in the sense that the chair has not responsible to cover them, because they still believe that they will still need these individuals, this cartel, this mafia, to still follow and lead the country in an irregular manner, and eventually they become victims of human trafficking. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I mean, there are lots of challenges, when it comes to this, but we can still see some efforts being made. So I think it's in order for us to congratulate and to tell them thank you, that regardless of these challenges, still great efforts and impact has been made regardless. So
exactly, I give it to the NAPTIP, and I give it to IOM and so many other NGOs and society organizations.
Absolutely,
to champion this cause.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So back to international, organizations now. How does international cooperation help when it comes to rescuing and rehabilitation of victims of human trafficking? And what are some best practices?
Okay. Beyond collaboration between countries, all right, there is a lot that industries can do together to help prevent trafficking through educational programs. There is a lot they can do also in community development initiatives that are directed towards victims of trafficking. In fact, the world needs professional exchange programs. This course, human trafficking and combating the learners, need professional exchange programs where expertise in this area comes to interchange their knowledge and technicalities with another expertise in the other area. By the time they begin to professionally exchange programs and information together, we have a stronger step ahead of this cartel. Then the airline industries should also play a big role. The staff should be on the alert. They should be at alert. They should be should have information at their disposal concerning traffic threats. After building awareness, these companies can work together, or these multinational or international organizations can work together to make trafficking hotlines visible and accessible to guests. The customers, their thousands should also have some of these things at the tip of their disposal. International cooperation coordination to mobilize resources for credible local NGOs, for me, is the way forward. I repeat, mobilization of resources for credible local NGOs that are truly helping to rehabilitate these people. So resources is needed, and international organization or the international community must play a vital role in helping to ensure that these credible NGOs or credible civil society organizations get the necessary resources that is needed to create awareness, to carry out advocacy, to provide rehabilitation. Then awareness and education is also very important. We should raise awareness about the threats of human trafficking through campaigns, through educational programs. We should teach individuals, international organizations, multinational companies most especially, should be able to invest their time and energy to ensure, especially the vulnerable population, to ensure that they are carried along, and the need to combating trafficking in person will also be minimal. Then there is need to strengthen legal frameworks. They should enact and enforce strict anti-trafficking laws that criminalize all forms of trafficking and prescribe severe penalties and punishment for offenders. This is what I feel the international organizations and community must do together. They should enact and enforce strict anti-trafficking laws that criminalize every single trafficking offender. If you do this and you implement comprehensive legislation that covers victims' protection, their witness support, and whistleblower protection, you will see that to a large extent the idea of human trafficking will be dealt with even to its root. There is need for economic empowerment. Organizations, multinational organizations, international communities should invest in programs that provide economic opportunities for vulnerable communities by reducing the risk of their vulnerability to trafficking. This will help to promote fair labor practices and ensure that workers have access to safe and legal employment across board. Then there is need to prosecute and establish law or law enforcement units or posts across borders, to establish specialized law enforcement units dedicated to the investigation of combating human trafficking. For me, this cross-border collaboration will enhance international cooperation in helping to investigate and prosecute human trafficking. Then there is also victims protection and support. There is a need to establish safe shelters and rehabilitation programs to be financed by some of these organizations that we know that are rich. They have the resources. There is need to establish these shelters and rehabilitation programs where the victims can recover and receive necessary services that ensures that they are fully equipped mentally to begin to physically and psychologically cater for themselves, and also begin to rebuild themselves again and discover their abilities.
Amazing, sir. I mean, there's so much to talk about, and when it comes to this, but let's just ask, because you mentioned, when you were talking about the best approach, you said you feel empowering grassroots or NGOs around is the best way to go about it. So now let's talk about a little bit on it. We don't have a lot of time left, but how can grassroots organizations and NGOs and local communities contribute to the success of global anti-human trafficking initiatives?
Excellent. At least I have been a part of this grassroots organization.
Amazing.
For years. I have been a part of local community mobilization for years, and we are doing our best at our own little pace. But there is more that we can still do. There is more that we can still do as practitioners, as organizations, and as grassroots organizations. You understand? We can do a lot, such as global campaigns and clamor for collaboration. A lot of the sitting under AC fitted rooms and the hotels are beginning to talk about policy, documents, and the rest of them. There is need for us to go out and carry out global campaigns and clamor for collaborations. There is need need for transparency and implementation of projects around this topic. Some NGOs and civil societies that are locally domiciled are provided resources enough to carry out advocacy and preventive measures. But trust me, some of these resources goes into the pocket of some of these organizations, the one that will not have administrative costs. You understand? And there is need for this transparency, which is my major concern. There is need for the provision of platforms to engage in discussions, and also collaborate on strategies to combat human trafficking and exploitation. This will include devising plans or putting plans in place to increase awareness among at-risk communities by providing for them what I would call specialized training, for law enforcement and border control personnel. So by addressing and preventing this heinous crime, I believe that NGOs will play a vital role in the global effort to combat human trafficking and protect vulnerable population. Then NGO can also provide legal assistance and compensation. They can provide all of this for cases for people who are victims of trafficking. You understand? And ensure that they help them establish compensation funds to provide financial restitution for victims for the harm they have suffered. This is why we should be talking about as CSOs and NGOs. Then there is need for rehabilitation. Provide rehabilitation programs to survivors. You understand? With essential physical and psychological assistance, including medical care. Provide them counseling, psychosocial support, and therapies to help them recover from the traumatic experience by focusing on survival and education, vocational training, job placement, assistance, legal support, empowerment programs. There are so many that we can do as local NGOs, helping to deal with this issue of human trafficking across board.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Mr. Iyagi Abraham Ernest. We've been talking to him on, global impact of, different organizations across the world that have been putting in work and efforts really to ensure that the issue of human trafficking is bygone. Yeah, he's a migration, return and reintegration officer, and that's why he speaks with so much knowledge. So we just have 1 more minute to go, but do you have any final words for us?
Yes, I will conclude by saying that controlling human trafficking is a complicated challenge that we are very much aware of. It is a real lot of challenge to deal with because these individuals who are cartels, who are mafias around this human trafficking, have the resources in billions of dollars to throw around, and we have none. And how do we, the little ants, try as much as possible to bring down the fat elephant? We are very much aware of these complicated challenges, and there is need for all hands to be on deck to deal with this.
Amazing.
That demands joint efforts at the national and international level. We must understand the various forms of trafficking, the vulnerable population that are at risk, the strategies for prevention, the need for prosecution, and the victims' protection is also very essential. I appreciate you for bringing me to your show.
Thank you
and
so much.
To also add a voice to the already existing value in the area of combating human trafficking. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ernest. The pleasure is all ours. Have a great day today.
And you too.
All right. All right, and to you, our listener out there, this is as much as we can go on I Wish I Knew radio program and drama. And it's that program where we get to talk about human trafficking and how we can be agents of change. So I hope you're able to pick 1 or 2 things today that would help you, while you make calculated efforts to ensure that the process that's, things going around you doesn't just happen to you or to anyone, that you are acting as watchdogs for the society. And my name is Dilto Joan. This is where I have to go, but keep listening to Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. We are the radio experience you can always count on.